back to Haut Beyleron. Well, it's time to plant. So let's get in and get ready for our planting season. I can't remember if I checked what we have. Yep, nothing in there. So we can do sorghum today. Yes, we can. Okay, so let's get into it. We got a bit of space for the chickens. Okay, and this is what I said to you in the last episode. We got exactly the same planter, but this planter can do sorghum. Now we've got the roller right behind, and we're not gonna hopefully forget this time to actually roll these fields. So we're gonna stick a little bit with this tractor. We got 3 fields to plant, which is this one that we're on. The one that you can see there in the distance, and a new field number 35, I believe. They're all going to be sorghum. Sorghum is good for feed to the chickens, but it's also a decent selling product as well. So we'll see what happens. Now let's get the other planter going. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of this ourselves. A couple of times, go up and down, and then we will let the worker take care of some of it, because I do believe that we're gonna have some issues. And just realized that what I can do is cross into this field over here, and this is a way where we can sort of do the work of both tractors. And let's put it up a little bit. Can't be like that. So this is probably better, because that way we get to see this tractor in action, the blue tractor, and at the same time we will do this. Oh, come on, don't go offline because I'm looking somewhere else. So this is why, now I hope you understand why I decided to change the seating arrangements. You know, it makes a huge difference to be able to plant, and look how crooked I went, to be able to plant and seed at the same time with the same seeders. Now I realize that in real life that's not really a possibility. In real life it is what it is, but in Farming Simulator you do have that option. And you know what, I decided that I wanted to kind of use that option, and you can clearly see why I wanted to use that option. It is a way where once we get into, you know, owning 5, 6, 7, 8 fields, it just speeds it up a lot quicker. Now I realize that by the time we'll probably own 5 or 6 or 7 fields or whatever, it's not really gonna matter, because we're gonna have enough money that we can have, you know. But I wanted to kind of, you know, take care of that option as well. Even though you can see that it's, you know, it's easy as anything to kind of do the job, because they're so fast. Well, it looks like he's kind of going to turn around. It is so fast to do the work with these seeders that it really does not matter. Alright, we're gonna go this way and going to do that little bit that he missed over there, and then we're gonna cross back and get ourselves into a position to start planting this other field next to us. There you are, nice and easy. I don't really think that we really needed to have the second seeder at all, but it is preparation type of thing, looking forward into the near future. So I hope you understand. again, I sit here having a good old chat to myself while the microphone is off. I don't know where I'm going to learn, but hopefully one of these days I'm going to learn, hey, check the microphone before you start talking to yourself. Yeah, I don't think as yet we need to worry about a 2-day per season type of thing, or per month. With at least not with seeding anyway. Like, this is very, very quick. I honestly didn't expect it to be this quick, the planting that is. I did not expect it to be this quick. I thought it would take quite a long time, but it seems to do very, very well. I'm doing this because I'm hoping to save the traffic from you know, having to always stop to see the seeders go through. Now see, it's the modders. One is Steve and one, I forgot who the second modder with this blue Kansas planter is. Little things that they've changed. Okay, it takes away a little bit from realism, because there's no way that you're planting at 18, 19 kilometers, 25 kilometers an hour. Even though there is high-speed planters out there that can plant at, what is about 10 miles? So it's about 16 kilometers an hour. So, you know, as much as he may be, there may be some accusations of not really being realistic, it's not too far behind realism, that is. Because, like I said, there is, I know that for a fact that there is seeders out there that can do. Okay, let's try and sort of stay out of the way of this tractor here. I'll give him a little bit of work to do. So in that case, you know, you can't really say it's not realistic. Okay, a little bit over the top as far as speed is concerned. But, you know, nothing massive. But the point that I'm trying to make is, by the mere fact that they just speed up a little bit, it makes Farming Simulator a little bit more playable for people that don't want to sit, or, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours a day to play Farming Simulator. By doing that, you're making the game a little bit more playable, a little bit more enjoyable, and a little bit more user-friendly, if I can, time-wise I'm referring to. Now, you can, and Farming Simulator could do this themselves, and that way you take away you take away a lot of the, you know, a lot of the players that could never play for, you know, not everybody has at their disposal 9 you know, X amount of hours a day to play Farming Simulator. And you know what, I don't know, it would be pretty sad to see, if there is people in the world that would sit for, on any game, not Farming Simulator, any game, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, every day. You know, life has a lot more to offer than just this, but this should be a place where you come and relax. Today 1 or 2 or 3 hours, tomorrow maybe nothing, and so on. And that's how it is to me. I play it, sometimes I play it and I'm on it for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I just set everything up with the workers to do whatever they do, and I'm out of here. I'm not really sitting here at the computer. Other times I sit here and play for 2-3 hours, probably max, in a day. And even that, if you think about it, that's quite a bit of time that you allocate. There's so many things in this life that you could do. So this is what modders bring to the game, other than the fact that they bring, you know, equipment and maps and things to the game that Giants just don't. And maybe Giants don't do that for exactly this reason, is that they know that you know, modders will. And because they know that modders will, they don't bother with hey, let's make the game perfect, or let's make the game this, or let's make the game that. Is they know No, we don't need to do that because these modders will come in and fix that up. And look, that may seem like a strategic mistake, but it's not, because on their behalf, the modders that is, they're allowing people like you and me that know how to mod and know to sort of take an interest in the game and own part of the game, which strategically it's very smart. You can design the game where people come and play it, and after 20 minutes, after 2 hours, after 10 weeks, it'd be boring. You're gonna have to do something else. But by the fact that they put the base out there with decent, everything type of decent on it, and then kind of do a suggestive theme where you come and play the game and you think, hey, these seeders are a bit too slow, or hey, these planters are a bit too slow, or something like that, then you, as a modder, you say, hey, I can fix that, and then they give you the knowledge on how to do modding as well. So strategically, it's an extremely wise thing on their behalf. Down to our last field of planting, and it's not even midday, so pretty well done. Pretty well done, if I may say so myself. Let's try from this other end. But I suppose you can see the way the field is structured on exactly how the worker would approach this. Let's try the other end. I want to see if I have to use workers, which would be the best site to start, and probably by the looks of it, this would be the better site to start. Even though even here I can see that it's going to be on an angle that the worker is going to work. Now we're going to get this done and then get into rolling the fields. I did buy, or at least I can't even remember, another roller. I think I bought another roller. See this, because it's fertilized fully, it does not change color, while the other one, because it's not fertilized, it kind of goes to a darker gray, much darker tinge of soil, which gives you a much better, how do I say it? It gives you a much more accurate way where you can see where you are. But that's okay. The texture difference is enough that you can tell, so that's not a problem at all. So it looks like if you're gonna use a worker, this is the best way to do it. Alright, we'll sit with him and we'll finalize this last field. Okay, let's get a rolling started. maybe I do need to slow time down a little bit for the rolling. And this last pass should be the last or second last time we're gonna go around this field. We may have a little bit at the end there. Well, there you are. He does recognize that he hasn't finished, which is good. And we're gonna be the heroes that finish this harvest. Joking, of course. Okay, so harvest, what am I saying? Planting. See, we're gonna be the heroes of saying the wrong thing. Alright, so planting easily taken care of. Now, easily taken care of because I had two machines. So I'm not gonna put both of them on the same field. I'm just going to go up, down, and then take care of this field right here. It would be nice if there was a bit more of a texture change. Actually, come to think about it, there is no texture change at all. It's not the best place in the world that I picked to put those bees in. Bang! Bees dead. Wait, what are you doing? After you kill my bees, you now decide to try to push them over, eh? So you can tell where you have or have not been when you're going up and down, because you're changing the course of, or the texture from going sideways to up and down, or from up and down to sideways, depending on how you want to see these. But if you're, once I turn around and I'm going to go the same way, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to figure out where I have or have not been. I think Giants could have done a little bit better here and actually give us a bit more of a clue on where we have and have not been, type of thing. There's our class rolling. You can see him through the bushes over there. And hopefully he's not missing too much, like I am right here. So apparently rolling is supposed to increase your yield by between 2.5% and 5%, depending on who you believe. Some people have done the math as per se, and they reckon it only increases your yield by about 2.5%. I've heard people say as low as 1.5%. So honestly, I don't know if it even does anything other than changes the color on the map, on the PDA, on the map thing. So yeah, but we're gonna do it. Now, I was gonna buy the bigger roller, but I can buy 3 of the smaller rollers instead of 1 of those. That's way overpriced. 24 meters is like 140,000. 12 meters, they're $41,000 each. So it's a bit ridiculous price-wise what Giants have done there. Now, as far as I understand, the point of the rolling is to close any sort of like pocket areas to impact the ground a little bit. So it closes any like your really fluffy soil to the point where the seed obviously has a proper seabed per se underneath it, so you can, you know, the roots can catch on properly. That's the best that I could get as far as rolling. I have heard farmers that say that they do rolling, especially when they plant grass, to kind of give it a leveling effect. So when they're coming with the combine or mowers or whatever, then the fields are not too rough and too bumpy and all that sort of stuff. So those are the kind of things that I heard farmers, real life farmers, talking about when it comes to rolling. So take your pick of which one you believe, or maybe it's a combination of both. Because I like watching real life farmers on YouTube, and even though obviously there is quite a lot of similarities, they all plant, they all harvest, they all so on, do some sort of soil either reaping or cultivating or whatever. There is quite a lot of variation between what they actually do in farming, so they don't seem to all do exactly the same thing, which stands to reason, different soils and so on. But yeah, we do rolling in the game purely because it asks, and something different. I like the fact that now we can cultivate, and the fact that we can mulch. I think I've said that before. Before you plowed and cultivated, but really, yeah. But now you have disking, you have cultivating, you have mulching and so on, which is fantastic. I enjoyed that bit of the game, so hopefully you too. Now, once we do have the cash, I am going to buy 2 of the bigger rollers. Purely because obviously, doing 24 meters in one pass instead of 12 meters in one pass, there is quite a lot of advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it. Okay, is he gonna say he's finished, or is he gonna realize that he has not finished? No, it looks like he knows. That's good. I like the way you can see 2 tractors on 2 fields working side by side type of thing. There is my only surviving Christmas tree. I may get rid of it, but I may just leave it there. I kind of like the way it sits there. I enjoy Christmas, as you can probably tell. Yeah, Christmas and holiday, that's been under attack for a long time. And you look in the developed world, Christians have completely ignored Christmas. It's become a bit of a farce, and we as Christians didn't care. What have I done? Very easily we gave up on a very important holiday for us. But I don't think most Christians cared, and very easily they became with this narrative of not insulting other beliefs. So we're not saying Merry Christmas anymore, we're saying Happy Holidays now, which to me, it's a bit of an insult to the other religions, that they would get insulted simply by you celebrating what you believe. I don't get insulted when other religions have their holidays. It's good for them, doesn't affect me. I don't do anything disrespectful towards their religion and their beliefs. So therefore I respect what they believe without without me trying to say, hey, you need to change so you don't insult me. But it's silly that Christians fell into this trap. And you look at Easter, you look at Christmas. We've become just a gift giver in those holidays, which is pretty sad that we've allowed and we did this to ourselves. We can't blame anyone else and say, hey, they did it to us. No, we very gladly did it to ourselves. Because we were happy to just get gifts and give gifts, and that's it. We became exactly what Jesus said when we, in the later days, where we would just love ourselves. It's sad because as you kill traditions in any country, it doesn't matter. I come from a former communist country, and I went and visited a few years back, and the European Union went in and killed all their traditions. Where I come from, they used to grow their own food, they used to grow their own meat, they used to grow their own potatoes and so on, and have the traditions. The European Union went in and said, nah, that's stupid, those traditions are rubbish, don't believe those traditions, they're rubbish. Your own cooked, your own grown pig and your own grown cow, all organic mind you, is unhealthy for you. Your own chickens are unhealthy for you. They lie to them about all these diseases that come out of this, and people, silly enough, believe them. And now you go through the country that I come from, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want anyone to say that I'm bagging it. You go to the country that I come from, try and buy something organic. People have land upon land upon land, which is now devalued. So what happened? The filthy rich out of the European Union came in and bought all that land and bought it for peanuts. And what are they doing? They're farming it, but they're no longer farming it as, my grandparents once did, and they've done for hundreds, if not, where the country that I come from goes back all the way to the, before Jesus Christ came to earth. So we're talking over 2,000 years. No. They're no longer farming it. Now, the rich farmers from the European Union, from outside of the country that I'm talking about, came and bought the land up, bought towns, hundreds and hundreds of hectares for peanuts. They wouldn't have been able to buy probably 1% of the land if, at the true value had they not just given it up for nothing. So they're farming it, filling it up with pesticides and chemicals and all this garbage, and selling it back to the people as healthy alternative. And stupidly enough, people believe it. And that just shows you that we may live in the age where we have so much knowledge, but you know what? Knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge is just knowledge. It's something you know. That doesn't mean you're wise just because you know something. And you know what? In the case where what I'm talking about, it's sad. Like when I went back, I remember as a child, you used to be able to get everything that you wanted, and it was grown by your neighbor and whatever. You grew potatoes, they grew tomatoes or whatever, and people bought or whatever from each other, and everything was healthy and everything was organic. Christmas time, people would cut their own pig, for example, and now you can't do that anymore because it's unhealthy. So it's unhealthy to have a pig that you grow with all organic food, no chemicals, no hormones, no nothing. It's unhealthy. But to buy the garbage that the European Union gives them, that's healthy. Sadly enough, people believe that, and they're all eating, not all, but a humongous majority, they're all eating garbage at the moment, and they don't seem to have any problems with that. And that's the sad thing. I'm trying to remember how we got onto this conversation, or how I got into this conversation. But this is what happens. Everything gets better, but traditions, and that's how we got onto this. Traditions disappear, and when traditions disappears, a bit of you disappears with it. A bit of your country disappears with you, and people have no longer loyalty to that country. And I suppose this is on purpose, because from what you see, the purpose is to disappear, the borders to disappear, and the Bible tells us that they will. That there will be one government world order, and it will be developed into 10 rulers or 10 kings, as the Bible describes it. And the Antichrist will be one of those 10 kings. And then you will find that the Antichrist will kill, I believe, 3 of them from memory. Then he will rule, and then he will start, after promising peace, he will start a war with a humongous army from, I believe, from north. Again, I'm telling all this from memory. So there is a purpose to all this. There is a purpose to destabilize every single country. You look at European Union, all over, it's so destabilized. I've been in Germany. Their economy is non-existent. It's just smoke and mirrors. We went through Austria, Germany, Italy, France, Hungary, and a few other places. And let me tell you something, everything is just smoke and mirrors. Some people are filthy rich, but majority are barely getting by. And they strive this ideology in front of the little people, that if you work really, really hard, you could be one of these mega millionaires, which obviously would never happen. And why do people believe that? It's because they easily sold out their traditions. My grandparents owned the land they did, they worked it. It was hard work. They worked it. They used everything they used was organic, and they reaped the benefits because they lived happy, healthy lives. I've never heard of so many diseases in my grandparents' time as what you hear of now. I live in Australia and in a developed country, and I live in a community where we come across, intimately. In other words, we know these people close, very close type of thing. 3,000-4,000 people, and the amount of diseases that we hear of these days is unheard of. In communist era where I lived, you never heard of any of these diseases, and yet we supposedly have better this, better that, better here, better there. But I think the outcome is not that. You look at the amount of medicines that we take today. I see people, older generation people, that have 10, 12 medicines that they take a day just to keep them alive. In communist country where I came from, that was unheard of, and people lived in the 80s, no problem. But you know what? They're telling us lies that we live more today and we do this more today. That's a lie. I look at in my job, I looked at elderlies here in Australia, and let me tell you something. What I saw in the way people lived, yep, they had their own house and they had their supposedly freedom. They were broke; they could barely afford to eat. And this, in some cases, were widows of ex-army soldiers that fought for the country, and now they're starving, sitting at home. Why? Because we sold out our traditions. We don't value things anymore. Everything is just numbers. You and I are just a number. And if you know how to manipulate that number, you're successful. If you don't know how to manipulate that number, or if you can't afford to manipulate that number, you're just a number that struggles by on your daily life. And this has to do with the fact that countries sold out their traditions, sold out what they stood for once, and they no longer stand for those things. And all of these things, without going too much on this rant, and all of these have a purpose. And the purpose is what Jesus Christ told us, that all of these point to an end of things. Why? Because if you read throughout the Bible, what happened is when people started to do those sort of things, God punished those people. God's grace and God's mercy is long lasting, but it's not forever. And when people get to a point of sinning in life, where the Bible tells us where the widows are the widows are no longer looked after. Nobody cares about their well-being. And when poor are crying out because they're poor and they're being treated unjustly, God allows it for a while. But the Bible tells us, and many times you'll find out throughout the Bible, that God says that the screams or the yells or the prayers, whichever way you want to translate it, of those people has reached all the way up to God, and God is coming to punish those people. You look at throughout history, and that's what you will see. You look at the Roman Empire and do a little bit of research, and you see once they started to become super powerful and super rich, they started to become super greedy and super everything else. And you know what? Everything that happens like that. Look at the Babylonian, look at the Syrian empires, look at all of these empires. As they grew and they became evil, God allowed them, gave them chance to repent, and when they didn't, God punished them. And those empires or superpowers, as we call them today, no longer existed. Do a little bit of math and have a look at what's happening today. Have a look at the superpowers that were once today, and have a look how they're now being destroyed from within. Why? Because that's how God punishes people. And this is a sign of what the Bible has been telling us for over 2,000 years. This is the sign of all these superpowers that have been, they've all gone. And I believe we're looking at the last superpowers that are being formed now, and that will be the end of it. So, take a bit of time. Look at your lifestyle. Are you selling out your traditions so easily? Hopefully you're not, and hopefully you're still valuing things. So hopefully you still put value on things far more than just material, far more than just money, cars, toys, and all that other nonsense. Anyway, I'll leave it here, and we'll keep going with the game, because otherwise I may end up boring you with me going on philosophy over here and you may think, hey, I just wanted to play a game, not listen to philosophy. But hopefully you find this interesting. If not, let me know. Hey, I don't want to listen to those kind of things. All right, we don't have that much to go. Let's go have a look, see how our other tractor's going. Okay, have you finished? I didn't even bother to look. Oh, we're gonna save. Yes, looks like he has finished. You notice that now you can't fold and unfold equipment if the tractor's off. That wasn't a problem in 19, 17, 15. You could just rock up to a tractor even if it was off, press X, and you would unload or fold or unfold. You can't do that anymore. Good thing, yes, because it's reality. You can't fold and unfold tractors if they're off, obviously. So yeah, good thing. Okay, let's have a look on exactly how. Alright, so slowly we will finish the rolling, and then we will have. Oh, I was kind of. I thought I bought. Like, what? Why isn't it showing that I've rolled it? And I forgot to roll that field. That's a nice view. A class and a case. About the same horsepower. Obviously this one on wheels. Wide wheels with weights. That one on wheels with tracks. Now I am going to stop the case at the end over here, and that will be the end of his work on this field. Because it's going to get to a point where they're going to collide with each other, not collapse. And I don't want that to happen, obviously. Okay, so we are with the class on its, wow, perfect timing, the last pass. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for taking the time to view my videos. If you got any questions, feel free to answer them. I will do my absolute best to answer them if I can, of course. Not pretending to know everything by any stretch of imagination. Far from it. But if I do have that knowledge, I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have. Like always, if you like what you see, consider supporting this channel. Other than that, have a wonderful day. God bless you, wherever you are around the world. And, enjoy 2022. It will very quickly, we will, very quickly look at it and go, wow, where is 2022 gone? Hopefully 2022 will be a much better year than 2020 and 2021 was. So, see you later. Bye-bye.